Hello everyone and welcome back to the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing a quick preview and a little preferred 11 from myself as Norwich City head to Pride Park, a game that's going to be on Sky Sports Plus. That's how I'll be choosing to tune into it, and kudos to all the Canary fans who are making that long trip up to the Midlands. I believe there's almost 3,000 away fans going, so that's some following, has to be said. But anyway, before we really sort of get into the starting lineup, we'll natter away about the game a little bit. Derby County in fine home form, one of four teams in the Championship to have won all of their home games so far. Played 3, won 3, yet to concede a goal at Pride Park. So that's going to be some challenge for a Norwich team who only have 7 away wins in their last 28 away Championship matches, and of course that is abysmal. Did beat Coventry away from home, just 2 away games ago, but then lost to Swansea in the following one. But last week, a picture-perfect performance against Watford, played the Hornets off the pitch, and now Norwich have got to go again for another tough game for them, a side who, albeit their away form, Derby has really let them down so far this season after being promoted from League One last season. They could cause a lot of issues for Norwich City. They're a big physical team where Norwich usually do tend to struggle against sides like that. They've got some decent Championship quality. Well, just to name a few, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, a very experienced Championship player, but they won't make it easy for Norwich. It'll be a difficult atmosphere for Johannes Hoftorp side to play against, and away from home, we know that Norwich aren't exactly the best. They just can't seem to get it right when they're on their travels. But again, Norwich, it's been an interesting season so far for the Canaries. It's been sort of hot and cold at times. There's been some very strong performances where you think of Coventry and Watford, even the draw against Blackburn Rovers, where Norwich played really well in the game. But then you look at some other performances. Swansea and Oxford away from home were very, very poor, and then even their away cup game played well against Crystal Palace, but was slaughtered by 4 goals to 0. And then even against Stevenage at home was a difficult game, 1-4-3. So Norwich very hot and cold at the moment, and you do sort of wonder maybe early on what version of them's going to turn up. But after the game against Watford, it seems as if maybe the team is now gelling. They're getting that style that Johannes Hoftorp wants, and we're showing that all of the signs are emerging. And maybe with a convincing away win, that could just be that little bit extra that maybe the players and management, maybe even some fans feel that Norwich need to truly crack on and prove that they can compete at a high level in this division and be right up there come the end of it. But going into the predicted 11, we'll begin with my back four. Angus Gunn in goal. Who else? A back four that I leave unchanged from the Watford game because of how well it played. So that means that Callum Doyle is going to be at centre half with Shane Duffy. Jose Cordoba is going to be at left back, and Kellum Fisher, who's just signed a new contract yesterday until 2028, he is going to be at right back. But those four against Watford were sublime. Doyle scoring an absolute corker, even got an assist. Cordoba, a fantastic performance on his first league start for Norwich. Shane Duffy really has proven a lot of worth as of late, maybe proving he's a bit underrated and by the Norwich fans, and that he earns his place in the starting 11 every week. He's had some very strong performances, wins a lot of aerial duels, and in a game against Derby, that's going to be key. They are going to chuck their big burly men in the box to try and cause aerial issues. Shane Duffy is going to be the answer to that if Norwich are going to have to play against that sort of game. It'd be an interesting battle between him and Mendes-Lang, and we'll see. Hopefully Duffy can get the better in those duels, but it'll be an interesting one for him. But he's been a lot better, I think, in this system than many fans would have expected. So he deserves to keep his spot because he's starting to prove a lot of doubt was wrong. And then Fisher was brilliant at right back against Watford, and even was playing as that sort of inverted fullback, and he was phenomenal in that game. Of course, still so very young, but given a new contract as well and given first team experience, he's evidently trusted by the management staff. And with a performance like that, you can't drop him. I think that's so harsh if Jack Stacey is chosen over him. So Fisher, for me, comes straight in at right back, and that back four showed that they can be very good and they can compete up against that Watford team, who are a good outfit so far in the Championship. So you would think that Johannes Otto won't switch that up, because they were so strong defensively and limited Watford to very few chances. And then three-man midfield, I'd make one change from that sort of midfield shape, if you will, from last weekend. I will go with Kenny McLean in that deep lying playmaker role that we love, and we know rather, and that he just runs. He just doesn't stop running. He's in there because he's Kenny McLean. He just keeps running. He's a warrior, and he'll be chucking himself into tackles throughout this game. And he will be again key for maybe even chance creation if Norwich have to resort to long balls over the top and long range passing. And then I would keep Marcelino Nunez, scored at the weekend, another top performance from the Chilean, who really now is properly finding his feet over the last sort of 4 months as a Norwich City player. He's really starting to crack on now. And I'd bring back a Mankwa Forson. I think maybe just his technicality and his intelligence of knowing how to just unpick and unlock a deep line defence where he can just play those neat, quick passes, play through the lines. I think that will be key. I can imagine Derby will be more than happy to sit back. They've done it in a few games already. Think back to the first game of the season when they played away at Blackburn. They got to 1-1 and they just took their foot off the gas and they sat back. Even against Watford, when they then lost to them, they just sat back on a 1-0 lead and relied on defensive capabilities and strength to just keep them in the game and sit on leads. They will try to be physical in that aspect in defence. So maybe a player like Forson you can bring back in and just use his intelligence and attacking prowess to just try and unlock a deep lying opposition defence, as I've just said, and just have that intricate play so that he can come in, and that arguably is one of Norwich's strongest midfields, those three. If Anis Ben Slimane is fit, well, as I'm recording this, Johannes Oftorp is doing a press conference, so we'll wait and see. But no, I think if he is in, he would be key for the physical battle in midfield. Again, he showcased against the minutes he played against Coventry that he can be a big burly midfielder and he can break up play. He can be nasty, and that's what you sometimes need in a game like what it could be at the weekend against the physical side. You just need someone getting in there, matching the physicality, letting them know they're there, to use the cliche, just from the off and setting a tone early. But I'm unsure as if he will be fully ready yet. It was a late call for him last weekend. He may well start, but I think maybe you don't want to rush him in when he's only played 50 minutes and he's had a bit of an injury. So maybe bring back in Forson, as I say, just for that little bit more attacking prowess and just a bit of knowledge to try and just play through the lines. And then the front three, I would keep Oscar Svart out, but I'll push him up to right wing, play him at right wing rather than through the middle, which we saw a bit against Watford. So that means Ante Seanats is my one and only change to go out of the team for Forson. And then you would have Borja Sainz and Josh Sargent complete that front three. Sainz, another goal at the weekend. He's Norwich's top scorer now with 3. Josh Sargent already has 2 goals, has missed 7 big chances in the Championship, but that's not something to worry about. He gets himself into those positions to score those sort of chances, and if you give him a few in one game, a player of his ability and his goal scoring records in this division, he will be putting them away. And if he can get into those spaces and Norwich can work around a bit, maybe a low block from Derby, and just play through them that little bit and just try and have the key to unlock that defence. Sargent, if he can get in behind or play off the shoulder and get in front of the defender, he will be slotting away the chances, you would hope. He'll get a few in a game. He always tends to. Sainz, again, just has been fantastic in the last few games. Maybe not so much against Swansea, missing a few chances, but again, he's got the knowledge to get into those sort of positions and have the chances to score goals. That's a key thing. That's just as key, really, as putting the chances away, you could argue. And again, Oscar Svartau, 18 years old, scary potential for this kid. He looked phenomenal against Watford, and he's had so much high praise from a lot of media outlets online as to how good he played and just how key he could be. And with that, of course, Johannes Oftorp knew about him. He played against him when he was manager of Norgeland when Svartau was at Brøndby. He has that knowledge of Svartau, a player who I'm sure he was probably looking at for a long time, and is already looking a key player, arguably, for Norwich's attack. He's a very smart player, physical player as well. Has got a bit about him in terms of that aspect, even though he's only 18 years old, and maybe you wouldn't expect that from such a young player, but he's intelligent in his footballing mind, and he can be physical. He can battle for the ball, play some really nice attacking passes, play just behind maybe the striker and look to play those passes through, and hopefully he can kick it off in a relationship with Sargent. But just going back to the game just a little bit before we sign off, this, as I said at the beginning, will be another good test. As I already mentioned, Derby are yet to concede at home, so Norwich are coming up against a very strong outfit at Pride Park, especially for home form. To win 3 from 3, you've got to be a good side. Of course, maybe they've not played the highest calibre of opponents yet, but there's still every reason to be concerned. You look at Norwich's away form, you look at Derby's home form straight away. There's such a stark contrast. Norwich are really poor away from home. Derby are very good at home. So it's completely, you couldn't get a bigger contrast of form for the home against the away side. But we know Norwich on paper, and yes, football isn't played on paper. Sorry, it's played on grass. But Norwich have got the stronger side. There is more higher caliber of quality, which maybe could get Norwich. They could get them through the game. Just all you need maybe is those one or two chances, and because of the quality we possess, you can get lucky. Maybe you can get out of jail, but that shouldn't be what this team look to do. They should look to do what Johannes Torup wants, and that is control the possession, tire out the opposition, and always look to score that next goal. The one thing Norwich can't really afford to do is let Derby play the game in how they do majority of their matches so far. Get the lead, sit back on it, and just be frustrated because you resorted to long balls and you don't have the physicality to match their defence. It will be a tough game, and their fans will make it tough. Pride Park is a fortress so far this season, and Norwich are a fragility away from home. But it will be an interesting game, and hopefully Norwich can pick up all 3 points and get back-to-back wins in the league this season and really show that they can crack on and beat strong outfits at home. Will be a very interesting game to watch, and it deserves to be in front of a TV audience. It's a game of high interest, you could argue. And Paul Warne, former Norwich boy, Norwich fan, born and raised in Norfolk, will he maybe let his childhood side get the better of him, or will he put all those feelings aside and will he just look to see it out and make Derby go 4 from 4 at Pride Park so far in the Championship season? We will wait and see. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do leave a nice little thumbs up below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can even hit that little notification bell to know when we've uploaded, and you will be the first one to know of anything we do on the YouTube channel. Do check out all of our socials in the links below. If you want to write for the website, we'll leave a link to that below. There may be a guest article with your name on it about this very game, potentially, if you fancy it, or any games in the future, or anything you have on mind with Norwich City. I've been Freddie Humphrey Wakefield. This has been the My Football Writer YouTube channel. It's goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next one. Whether that is a match reaction, a live stream to this one, we'll see how all of our schedules work. But anyway, we will see you then, and it's goodbye for now.